Boppettes are the Buick, Oldsmobile, and Pontiac intermediate cars. The Buick intermediates are known as the Special Deluxe, and the Skylark. Oldsmobile intermediates are the F-85, the Cutlass, and the Cutlass Supreme. And Pontiac intermediates are the Tempest Custom, and the Le Mans. It is important that you know the various models because of price differences between the standard-equipped bottom-of-the-line models, such as the Special, the F-85, and the Tempest, and the top-of-the-line models, the Skylark, Cutlass Supreme, and Le Mans. For instance, the price difference between a Buick Special four-door sedan with standard equipment and a Buick Skylark four-door hardtop with standard equipment is $483. And if you jump from a standard-equipped F-85 four-door sedan to a standard-equipped Cutlass Supreme four-door hardtop, the price difference is $443. The price difference between a standard-equipped Tempest four-door sedan and a standard-equipped Le Mans four-door hardtop is $383. Our purpose in classifying the Buick, Oldsmobile, and Pontiac intermediates by model and price class is to help you pinpoint what you're selling against. It is important that you know the various models and the price differences because, according to current sales figures, the intermediate Boppettes are stealing commissions from you in a market that has shown a steady growth over the years. In 1962, the intermediates, which includes Fairlane, represented 13.8% of total car sales. In the 1966 model year, intermediate car sales mushroomed to 25% of total car sales, or 1 out of every 4 cars sold during the 66 model year was an intermediate. As you know, Ford led the industry into this market with the 1962 Fairlane, and since the Fairlane's introduction, you have done an outstanding selling job. I'm sure most of you have found this series has brought you increased earnings. Since the introduction of the 67 Fairlane, however, a pattern is forming that, as we mentioned, is hitting you right smack in the pocketbook. BOP intermediates are drawing not only from your Fairlane owners, but from your standard Ford owners as well, through conquest sales. This means you're losing money, and we want to help you prevent this loss. Now, in examining the primary reasons why people buy a Buick, Oldsmobile, or Pontiac intermediate, perhaps we can come up with something to help you sell against them. First, let's put the Boppettes in their proper categories. Buick and Oldsmobile intermediates, according to marketing surveys, carry a prestige and luxury image, while the Pontiac intermediates carry a sporty image. Based on these facts, the Boppette buyers are divided in their buying motives. On the one hand, there's the prestige and luxury-minded, and on the other, there's the sporty image. If you have been trying to cover these buying motives with the Fairlane, you have been probably losing sales. Actually, the Fairlane is aimed squarely at the low end of the line Tempest, Special, and F-85 models in product and in image. Therefore, the initial step would seem to be to know what you're selling against first. Is it prestige and luxury or sporty image? If it's prestige and luxury, this doesn't mean that you throw in the towel on the Fairlane. For if your customer is eyeing a standard model, such as the Special, F-85, or Tempest, prestige and luxury go out the window, and price comes into the picture, which gives you a decided advantage because you can match him feature for feature and beat him on price with the Fairlane. As you can see, you have a $123 price advantage over the Special, a $118 advantage over the F-85, and a $49 advantage over the Tempest going in. So you can give him a better deal, which is his primary interest if he's shopping the standard low end of the line Boppettes. On the other hand, if he's thinking about a Skylark, a Cutlass Supreme, or Le Mans, you should be aware of this because his buying motives are different. He's after that luxury and prestige image, which means if he's leaning toward a Skylark, a Cutlass Supreme, or Le Mans, he's moving into the full-size car price range and the luxury and prestige image these units carry. Is it advisable to meet this image head-on with the Fairlane? We feel that it isn't. Instead, it's recommended that you come on strong with the advantages of the big Ford, preferably the Galaxy 500, over the smaller top-of-the-line BOPs. It makes sense for many reasons. Just check your 67 Competitive Facts book, and you'll see the Galaxy 500 is a bigger car in every dimension than any of the Boppettes. 6 inches longer in overall length, 4 inches longer in wheelbase, and has more headroom, shoulder room, leg room, and hip room, front and rear. It's also heavier, with better riding qualities, more comfort, and carries a prestige and luxury image for many buyers. And you can put your prospect into a Galaxy 500 for about the same amount of money he'd pay for a Skylark, Cutlass, or Le Mans. In fact, the sticker price on a fully equipped Cutlass Supreme Holiday Coupe without air conditioning lists out at $3,479.77. And gentlemen, that's LTD country. To simplify price comparisons, however, let's stick to base vehicle prices because that's the starting point. Using suggested retail delivered base prices, these figures can be a real eye-opener, especially when the Galaxy 500 two-door hardtop is only $63 more than the Skylark two-door hardtop. However, in the four-door hardtop models, Ford has a $36 price advantage. Now let's look at the Cutlass Supreme. Here the price spread is only $30 more for the Galaxy 500 two-door hardtop over the Cutlass Supreme two-door hardtop, and only $14 more for a four-door hardtop. And how about the Le Mans? Here, the Galaxy 500 is priced a little higher in the hardtop models than the Le Mans. But don't forget, he's getting a lot more car with the Galaxy 500 than he is with the lighter, smaller Le Mans. Actually, it boils down to bracketing your prospects with the Galaxy 500 and the Fairlane. If your sales sense tells you that you're losing out on a Fairlane sale, bring in the big brother to save the sale, the Galaxy 500. This may appear oversimplified, but here's what Boppette salesmen have been hanging their pitch on against Fairlane. They've been talking size, weight, and ride. Here are some actual BOP salesmen's comments about Fairlane that were taken from an actual shopping survey of competitive dealerships. Fairlane's a much smaller car, a lot lighter. Won't give you the ride you get with a special. Another salesman said, the Fairlane's a good small car, but the F-85 is bigger, heavier, more comfortable. Still another salesman said, Fairlane's not in the same class with the Tempest. It's much smaller, a lot lighter, doesn't give you the ride. And here's the capper. In fact, the Cutlass is as heavy as a Ford or Impala. Well, if these quotes are any indication of what Boppette salesmen are telling prospects nationally, then you've got your work cut out for you. You have to let your prospects and owners in on the true picture. And the truth is, the Fairlane is lighter than the BOP intermediates. But the BOP intermediates get that extra poundage from the increased overhang both front and rear. In other words, they've stretched the overall length of their cars to make them look big, but they haven't increased the wheelbase. Fairlane has the advantage of a longer wheelbase than any of the Boppettes, and wheelbase is a major factor in riding qualities. Moreover, the Boppettes' extra weight means it takes extra gasoline to push that dead weight around. Counter the BOP salesman's pitch with these important Fairlane advantages. And just to get the record straight, inside, the Fairlane has more legroom than all of the Boppettes and more headroom than the Tempest and the F-85, which means the Fairlane is not the smaller car the BOP salesmen are telling your prospects and owners it is, but they seem to be getting away with it. Now, you've got to turn their thinking around in your direction. But this is even a greater exaggeration. The Cutlass is as heavy as the Ford or Impala. The truth is, the Galaxy 500 two-door hardtop weighs about 400 pounds more than the Skylark, 265 pounds more than the Cutlass Supreme, and 285 pounds more than the Le Mans. And it's not dead weight to make the Galaxy look bigger. The Galaxy 500 is bigger, yet performs better. In the recently completed 1967 Pure Oil performance trials, the big Ford Custom equipped with the 289 V8 had better gas mileage and better braking performance than both the V8-equipped Skylark and the Cutlass Supreme, despite the fact that the Ford is a heavier car. But if the Boppettes salesmen get to your customers first, who's to know the difference? You've got to put the bop on the Boppettes. And the answer is, beat them to the punch through recontact. Get on the horn and call your old customers. Send them reminder cards. Pay them a visit. Keep them loyal to you. You have everything in your favor going against the Boppettes. You can squeeze them in a power play between the Galaxy 500 and the Fairlane. Just bear down and hustle. Recontact your customers, and you'll put a stop to the Boppette salesmen stealing commissions from you. You'll bop the Boppettes.